Well, a beautiful, sunny greeting to all of our friends along the journey. Today we find ourselves in Hickory, North Carolina, at the heart of the Lenoir-Rhyne campus, and we are alongside Mr. Martin Luther, or at least a masked statue of Luther, one of the largest in the world, actually. And we're here because this week in Journey, our groups are going to transition from the idea of glory to grace as we understand gospel living and we understand the fundamental elements of the gospel itself, the true gospel, the biblical gospel. See, grace is the unmerited favor that God has gifted us. It is the great swap. He did what we couldn't do, and we receive what we do not deserve. When Christ died on the cross, He said, "It is finished," and it is. It has been completed. There's nothing we can add to it. See, this was the revelation that sparked the Reformation. When Luther, the 16th century monk, had been living in bondage for many years to the idea of, was he good enough? Did he do enough? When he came to faith, what else did he have to achieve or accomplish? A works-based theology, a performance-based theology. But through the reading of the Apostle Paul in Galatians and Ephesians and Romans, he discovered that there was nothing he could do, that we were saved by grace and not by works, that we are justified by our faith in receiving that grace and not by the law. That's a wonderful, liberating, freeing thing. And the church, the medieval church, had been infiltrated by many works-based practices. That is the heart. That is the catalyst. That was the one doctrinal, theological principle that we can point to in terms of why the 1517 and later Reformation of the church. Grace. Understanding and getting grace right is a principle of the gospel. Well, this week in your journey groups, your three key takeaways. Number one, you're going to be looking at the answer, part 2. And it's obviously on grace, but pay attention to the response to God diagram and specifically where the pilgrimage begins. The spiritual pilgrimage, where it should begin and where we sometimes want it to begin. Number 2 this week, when you look in your green book, you're going to want to look at the concept of we lost it all, He did it all, we get it all. We lost it all, back to glory and that striving for the satisfaction that was once designed into us. He did it all, really this week, and what He did for us, and we get it all. We did nothing. But that's the idea. So pay attention there. And then the third thing this week is, speaking of a spiritual pilgrimage, the My Spiritual Journey activity is a wonderful activity to both reflect on your own testimony of faith, but also to share with your group. It's starting to help formulate how you're going to share the gospel of glory, grace, and truth. And you're going to look at these areas when you knew that the true grace of God, that gift, was made present to you, when you received it, when you have rejected it. So continue to think through that and doodle out that journey. It is important for all of us to have an idea of that. Very fun. So have a great week. Embrace the grace, the gift that is from God in your salvation and in your sanctification. Have a blessed week along the journey.